Throughout history, the world has been riddled with mysteries. Puzzles that have defied logic, challenged investigators, and sparked endless speculation. These are the stories that haunt our imagination, leaving behind questions that may never be answered. From vanished explorers to cryptic messages left by an elusive serial killer, today we dive deep into some of the greatest unsolved mysteries of all time. The vast Pacific Ocean, a seemingly endless expanse of blue stretching to the horizon. It is a place of immense beauty, but also of great danger, where the forces of nature can turn on a dime. It was here in this unforgiving wilderness that Amelia Earhart, a true pioneer of the skies, vanished without a trace. July 2, 1937, Amelia Earhart attempting a daring feat to circumnavigate the globe along the equator, a journey never before completed by a woman. Alongside her navigator, Fred Noonan, she takes off from Lae, New Guinea in her Lockheed Electra 10E aircraft. Their destination, Howland Island, a tiny speck of land in the vast Pacific. The journey is perilous. Fuel is tight and navigation over the featureless ocean is a constant challenge. Earhart maintains radio contact with the Itasca, a U.S. Coast Guard cutter stationed near Howland Island, providing regular updates on her position. Then, the unthinkable. The radio signals become increasingly faint, garbled. Earhart's voice, once strong and determined, takes on a desperate edge. She reports running low on fuel, her position uncertain, and then, silence. The Itasca immediately launches a search and rescue operation, scouring the area where Earhart's last transmission was received. Planes from the U.S. Navy join the effort, combing the vast expanse of the Pacific, but their efforts prove futile. No trace of Earhart, Noonan, or the Electra is ever found. Off the southeastern coast of the United States, shrouded in mystery and legend, lies a region that has captivated the imagination for centuries: the Bermuda Triangle. This expanse of the Atlantic Ocean, often depicted as a vaguely defined triangular area, has become synonymous with unexplained maritime disappearances, strange occurrences, and eerie tales of the sea. For centuries, sailors have whispered of strange happenings within the Bermuda Triangle. Compasses spinning wildly, ships vanishing without a trace, and sudden, violent storms appearing out of nowhere. These tales, passed down through generations, have woven a tapestry of fear and fascination around this enigmatic region. One of the earliest documented accounts dates back to Christopher Columbus's voyage across the Atlantic in 1492. His logbook entries describe unusual compass readings and strange lights observed in the night sky while sailing through the area. While these accounts offer no concrete evidence of the supernatural, they planted the seeds of mystery that would later blossom into full-blown legend. The modern myth of the Bermuda Triangle began to take shape in the 20th century. In 1918, the USS Cyclops, a massive naval cargo ship carrying over 300 men and a full load of manganese ore, vanished without a trace while sailing from Barbados to Norfolk, Virginia. Despite an extensive search, no wreckage was ever found, and the ship's disappearance remains the single largest loss of life in the history of the U.S. Navy, not directly attributed to combat. As more ships and aircraft went missing within the Bermuda Triangle over the years, theories attempting to explain these disappearances proliferated. Some pointed to the region's unique environmental factors. The Gulf Stream, a powerful current that flows through the area, could potentially carry away wreckage, making it difficult to find. Others suggested the presence of rogue waves, massive walls of water that can appear suddenly and sink even large vessels. Then there were the more sensational theories. Some suggested the presence of magnetic anomalies within the Bermuda Triangle, causing compasses to malfunction and leading ships astray. Others proposed the existence of underwater methane eruptions, releasing massive bubbles of gas that could sink ships or even cause planes to lose altitude and crash. Despite the enduring popularity of these theories, scientists and maritime experts remain skeptical. They argue that the number of disappearances within the Bermuda Triangle is not statistically higher than in other heavily trafficked areas of the ocean. In fact, many of the so-called mysterious disappearances can be attributed to human error, piracy, or natural disasters. The Bermuda Triangle, while fascinating, may not be as unique as it seems. The year is 1587. A group of intrepid English settlers arrives on a windswept island off the coast of what is now North Carolina. Led by John White, they are determined to establish a permanent English colony in the New World. They call their settlement Roanoke. Little do they know, they are stepping into a mystery that will endure for centuries. Life on Roanoke is harsh. The settlers face unfamiliar terrain, unpredictable weather, and the constant threat of conflict with the native Algonquin tribes. John White, tasked with governing the fledgling colony, soon realizes that they are ill-prepared for the challenges ahead. Supplies dwindle, tensions rise, and the dream of a thriving settlement begins to falter. Faced with dwindling resources and mounting anxieties, White makes a fateful decision. He will return to England, seeking supplies and reinforcements to ensure the colony's survival. Leaving behind his daughter, Eleanor Dare, her newborn child Virginia, the first English child born in the New World, and the remaining colonists, White sets sail for England, promising to return as swiftly as possible. But fate, it seems, has other plans. White's return to Roanoke is delayed not by weeks or months but by years. England is embroiled in a war with Spain, and every available ship is conscripted into the war effort. White, desperate to return to Roanoke, finds himself stranded in England, his thoughts consumed by the fate of the colonists he left behind. After 3 agonizing years, White finally secures passage back to Roanoke. As his ship approaches the familiar coastline, he is filled with a sense of both anticipation and dread. What awaits him on the island? Will he find the colony thriving, or will he be met with silence? As White sets foot on Roanoke Island, an eerie stillness hangs in the air. The once bustling settlement is now a ghost town, devoid of any signs of life. The only clue left behind is a single word carved into a tree: Croatoan. This cryptic message deepens the mystery, leaving historians and archaeologists puzzled to this day. The late 1960s. San Francisco vibrates with the counterculture movement, a generation yearning for peace and challenging societal norms. The city is alive with music, protests, and a sense of freedom that permeates the air. But beneath the surface of this cultural revolution, a darkness festers. A sinister presence lurks in the shadows, waiting to strike. A shadow stalks the idyllic landscape of Northern California, leaving a trail of fear and mystery in its wake. The foggy nights and eerie streets become the backdrop for a series of chilling events. This is the chilling tale of the Zodiac Killer. December 1968, a name that would soon become synonymous with terror. 2 teenagers sit in their car on a quiet lane in Benicia, California, enjoying a romantic evening. The night is calm, and the world seems perfect. Suddenly, their world is shattered by the deafening roar of gunfire. The tranquility of the night is replaced by chaos and fear. David Faraday and Betty Lou Jensen become the first victims of a nightmare that will grip the San Francisco Bay Area for years to come. Their tragic end marks the beginning of a reign of terror. The following year, the killer strikes again, this time targeting a young couple parked on a lover's lane near Vallejo. The pattern of violence continues. Darlene Ferrin is fatally wounded, while her boyfriend, Mike Mago, barely survives the attack. The community is left in shock and fear. The killer, shrouded in darkness, melts back into the night, leaving behind an ominous calling card. A cryptic message scrawled on the couple's car door. This message would become a signature of his heinous acts. Thus began a terrifying game of cat and mouse between the Zodiac Killer and law enforcement. The police are left scrambling for clues, desperate to catch the elusive murderer. Over the next few years, the killer would claim responsibility for a series of murders, taunting police and the public with cryptic messages, ciphers, and bizarre symbols sent to local newspapers. His arrogance knows no bounds. He seemed to revel in the terror he inflicted, his every communication laced with a chilling blend of arrogance and madness. The public is gripped by fear and fascination. The Zodiac's ciphers became the stuff of legend. Each one a puzzle, a challenge to those who dared to solve them. Complex patterns of symbols and letters, seemingly indecipherable, yet holding the promise of revealing the killer's identity. The ciphers are a tantalizing mystery. Some of the ciphers were solved, offering tantalizing glimpses into the killer's twisted psyche. Each solution brings a mix of relief and dread. Others remain unbroken to this day, their secrets locked away, taunting investigators and amateur sleuths alike. The unsolved ciphers are a constant reminder of the killer's cunning. Despite the efforts of seasoned detectives, forensic experts, and even amateur codebreakers, the Zodiac Killer's identity remains one of the most baffling unsolved mysteries in criminal history. The enigma of the Zodiac continues to haunt us. Unsolved mysteries continue to captivate our imagination, leaving us with more questions than answers. Perhaps one day the truth will be uncovered. But until then, the intrigue of the unknown keeps these stories alive.